The Toyota Prius MFD, also known as a multi-function display. In the back, typically any kind of power issues are because of the circuit board. Sometimes you'll get loss of touch, some of the buttons won't respond, or it'll just actually churn off altogether or give you white flashing. Those are power issues that are most likely contained inside this unit. When you're removing it from your vehicle, you want to be really careful. As you can see in the back, the plastic itself is very thin and brittle, but this is only mounted on 4 screws in the back that pretty much put a lot of weight on the plastic. So be very careful when you're pulling it off on these, as the top housing can actually crack. So be careful when you're removing it. And there's these 2 little tabs that you can see on the top. Today I'm going to show you how to do a teardown of this, just so you can see what's inside of this unit, and we'll go from there. As you can see, the 2 tabs, there's one that says R on it. If you can catch that on the reflection, there's a little R, and this one says L, which is left. If you're facing from the back over here, the L would go on this side, and the bracket would go on the right one, would go on this one here, just like so. They'd be both facing on the back. And if you notice carefully over here, on the left side of this Prius MFD unit, there are 2 cables in the back that you want to really be careful of removing. They can tear apart. One is for the Bluetooth and the other one's for the button functions. So we're going to take those off right now. And you can see it slowly coming apart. And I'm going to put this back in here and use tweezers to remove the Bluetooth. Like so. And that is the disassembly of the circuit board. Now, you may want to keep it in the housing when you ship it to us, just due to the fact that this is protecting the plastic and the metal, the glass touch. If you ship it just like this, you might be able to put it in a smaller box, but you would have to triple check to make sure that this glass doesn't get damaged in any way. If you send it to us with the housing, we'd be able to test all the buttons and also access more of the menu on the multi-function display. So I recommend actually sending it out with everything. That way we can test if any of the backlights are out on the side buttons, if the clock is working correctly, and that also all the buttons are responding, and we're able to access the menu of the multi-function display. So it's best to send it with everything, but this is basically if you take it down further, there's going to be circuit boards exposed. So and this is for the Bluetooth receiver. We're going to go further. And this is what it looks like right here. Now we're going to take off the outer housing for this. Now, as you can see, I got a few screws right here already mounting up. Mostly they're all the same size. There is a smaller one and length. Those are for the power and for the bottom Bluetooth. And then you have 2 different type of larger bolts. One with a more coarser thread is actually for the plastic housing, and the metal one is for mounting it, the actual rear housing to the brackets. So I'm going to go further, just like so. Bluetooth cable inside here. We removed it on the housing, and you have to disconnect it on the board itself to remove this whole housing. And it comes right off like this. There's a protective shield for the power going to the LCD digitizer. We remove that. There's this cable. Again, this is the cable for the 4 buttons that, well, if you have the 7 buttons or the 4-button configuration, that's for that. There's one power cable right here for the small fan. And these 4 screws that I'm taking off right now are the smaller in length, so they are different to the ones that we remove on anything else. So I keep those separate. Just like so. Alright. We're going to disconnect this one. Try, when you're removing cables, make sure you're not yanking at the actual harness, that the wires don't get pulled back or damaged. You just have to grab them the right way, and you can use tweezers, or just be careful overall. Everything's disconnected, and now we're taking off the power board. And there you have it. That's your connectors going into the multifunction display. And this is the main circuit board. And there's 2 circuit boards. They just mount on top of each other through brackets. So we're going to remove the final bracket shield. And now this already has a fan mounted to it. We're going to put it to the side. And this is what the main circuit board looks like. You can notice there's a fan in the middle. There's an LCD connector. The touchscreen connector at the top. It's a lot smaller. And there's 4 more screws. And the main board will be off. Alright. Carefully remove the touch connector, power connector, and now you should be able to remove the circuit board. Notice how I'm lifting it up. I don't know if you can see, there's these small little grooves right here that it falls on next to the threads. So you want to make sure they come off that completely, and it'll come right out. The LCD ribbon connector actually pops off from the top, and then the plastic piece disengages from the rear. So you want to make sure it's disconnected, otherwise if you pry it, you can potentially damage the LCD connector. And there you have it. That's the main board. Here's what the back side looks like. We fix all the power issues on this board here, any kind of flickering. If your touch is going bad, then we'll actually replace the glass element altogether and put a brand new glass on there so that it'll restore your function of touch. And basically any power issues will be sorted out. If you have any questions or concerns, give us a call, like and subscribe, follow us on Instagram and on our UpFix channel on YouTube. More videos will be coming. Thanks for watching.